Greetings and welcome back to L.A. Quill. Today we're reading chapter 29 of Arianna's tale. Damuk pulled his clothes on swiftly. He hoped Arianna would awaken before he had to leave, for he didn't relish sneaking out of their bed without bidding her farewell. She'd been asleep when he'd finally come to bed, so she didn't yet know that he was heading to the coast. He'd probably be on the heels of her brother as he made for the ocean, actually. He handed his packs to Hayden, who would take them to his squire Nereus. After the squire had served him so well at the gully, Damuk had made a conscious effort to remember his name. Usually he didn't bother, but this particular squire reminded him just a little of himself, and had proven himself invaluable. Nereus entered to take the packs. "Sire," he said with a quick salute, "the men are ready to depart. Messengers have been sent ahead to prepare ships so we may sail immediately upon reaching the coast." "Keep your voice down, boy," Damuk snapped, hoping he hadn't woken Arianna. She needed her rest. "It's all right, Damuk," Arianna said sleepily. She sat up and regarded him with suspicion. "I'm rather glad I heard that. Where are you going?" Damuk sighed. He sat next to her on the bed, having to step over the sleeping Lenora to get there. He tried to ignore the wolf. "I must deal with the muradeen, and I must do it now. It cannot be allowed to continue to destroy our ships and quite possibly threaten coastal villages, both here and in the Republic." Tears spiked her lashes. She knew that a creature like that had to be stopped. "But why do you have to go? Can't somebody else handle it?" He gently wiped the tears away as both Hayden and Nereus left the two lovers alone. "Sweetheart, next to my father, I'm the most powerful mage we have, and magic will be needed to overcome the creature. I have to go. I am not boasting when I say there is no one else." "But it almost killed you last time," Arianna cried. She didn't bother to hide her fear. He smiled. Her obvious fear for his safety touched his heart. "I was unprepared before. Now I know what to expect, and how to deal with it." He kissed her gently, then drew back. He sighed and rose from the bed. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'd rather stay here with you, but I have responsibilities that I cannot neglect." "When will you be back?" she asked, trying not to cry. "I don't know. It will probably take 3 or 4 days to reach the coast, and maybe 2 weeks hard sailing to get to the area where the muradeen first attacked." He reached down to kiss her forehead. "Don't worry. I promise that I will come back to you. I'll probably be gone for a couple of months if you add in the extra time to locate the muradeen. But I could be gone much longer if we can't find the beast." Arianna took heart from that. He hadn't yet broken a promise he'd made. "I guess defeating this thing is pretty high on your priority list." She watched him carefully. Damuk smiled, knowing what she was getting at. "It's not more important than you, sweetheart. But yes, it's important." He shrugged. "If it hadn't been for the muradeen, this war would have been over quite some time ago." "Makes you wonder where it came from," she commented. "Actually," he said hesitantly, "my father knows where it came from. He's pretty sure anyway. Cybil summoned it." "What?" She could believe that Cybil would want to hurt people, but not that she was powerful enough to actually summon an ancient sea creature. Damuk returned to the bed, seating himself beside Arianna. "I need you to promise me that you will not set 1 foot outside the palace while I'm gone. Not even if you have another dream and are escorted by 100 men. Cybil and Ikon are loose, and they are more powerful than I first thought." He wrapped her in his arms. "I could not bear to lose you." She had been about to refuse his request, to tell him that if he could just take off, then so could she. But that last sentence won her over. "I'll promise that if you promise to return before the baby is born." "Absolutely," he said, rising once more. "My father will wish to speak to you." He saw the fear in her eyes. "Don't worry. Even in his moments of greatest anger, he would not harm you." She let out a sigh. "I hope you're right. He frightens me." Damuk laughed out loud. "Well, you certainly don't act like it. The first time you met him, you had quite the mouth on you." Arianna smiled slightly. "Sometimes what comes out of my mouth hasn't quite gone through my brain first. Especially when I'm scared," she admitted. He decided not to touch that comment since it was an understatement. "I think everyone has moments like that," was all he said in response. Damuk moved toward the door. "My father has promised to look after you while I'm gone. Try not to cause too many problems. I've left Myron to protect you. He'd give his life for yours. Let us hope he doesn't have to." Then he was gone. 2 candle marks later, Arianna found herself summoned to the Emperor's study. She was not looking forward to this. Despite Damuk's assurances to the contrary, she knew that if he chose, the Emperor could hurt her, though he probably wouldn't kill her. She walked slowly down the stairs that would bring her to the study, following Myron, who had been sent to fetch her. Feet dragging, she approached the door and waited as Myron knocked. He opened the door, seemingly without any answer to his knock, and ushered her in. "Come in, my dear, and have a seat," the Emperor said softly from his chair behind his large desk. Arianna obeyed, slowly. She approached one of the wing chairs before him, keeping her eyes on her feet and trying very hard not to tremble. He observed the girl for a moment. He knew she was afraid of him, and rightly so. Without Damuk here, it was his sole responsibility to see his future daughter-in-law safe, and he intended to do just that. However, he did not want her trembling in fear of him. "You have nothing to fear from me, my dear," he said gently. He waited until she looked at him before continuing. "However, I cannot pretend to be pleased that you fled the sanctity of my home." "But I wasn't fleeing," Arianna protested. "I knew Damuk would follow me. I was counting on it." "So my son has explained," the Emperor replied. "However, you placed yourself in grave danger. Cybil and Ikon, both of whom wish you ill, have not been caught. If they had chosen to take you while you rode across the desert, Damuk and I would not have been able to help you. You would now be in their possession, and quite a bit worse for wear, I would imagine." Arianna returned her gaze to her slippers. "I realize that, my lord. But please try to understand I could not let my brother die, not when it was within my power to save him." "I know that, my dear. I know that." He sighed and leaned back in his chair. "I would have an oath from you that if you have another vision, you will tell my son or me immediately, and not try to handle it alone." She raised her eyes to his and knew instinctively that he would have this promise from her, or she'd never get out of this room. "I will, my lord, now that I know my visions will not be dismissed." "Well," Rocken said with much more cheer, "now that that's settled, we have an engagement and a wedding to discuss." Arianna looked at him in surprise. "But shouldn't we wait for Damuk to return? I mean, it's his wedding too." "We must wait for the actual wedding," the Emperor laughed. "However, the planning will be done primarily by my first Chancellor, Orion. He is, after all, also the Master of Protocol, and there is much protocol to be followed." "What protocol? Can't we just get married?" He laughed again, this time at her naivete. "No, child. It's a royal wedding. The court will have nothing less than a proper wedding and coronation. After all, they have not had the chance to attend a royal wedding since my father's time." Arianna's eyes widened. "Coronation? You didn't think you could marry the crown prince without undergoing a coronation, did you? You cannot become his wife in truth without the coronation that will declare you princess of the realm." He watched her carefully. Upon seeing her obvious confusion, he raised an eyebrow. "Obviously, my son has neglected to mention some things." "Well, we didn't get much of a chance. I left the next day." She was actually rather frightened by the idea of a very public wedding and a coronation. She'd never really been the center of attention before. "We haven't talked much about the wedding," she whispered. He smiled gently to reassure her. He could only imagine how a woman raised as a peasant would feel in this situation. Out of her depth, probably. Arianna was absolutely terrified, and it showed in every way. "Orion will handle everything. All you need do is what he tells you, for both ceremonies." He rose from his chair, coming around the desk to help her to her feet. "The wedding will take place immediately upon Damuk's return, which will hopefully be before the baby arrives." "Oh, he promised to be back by then, no matter what," she replied quickly. Rocken nodded with confidence. "Then he will be. Damuk always keeps his promises. Arianna blushed, reminded of the first promise he'd ever made her back in Akana Valley. Then he'd promised that they'd meet again, and he'd made that happen when he'd come back for her 10 weeks later. Rocken followed her train of thoughts easily, and he repressed a grin. He led her to the door of the study. You should get some rest. Tonight, despite my son's absence, we will announce your engagement. Arianna nodded and left the room. And that's our tale from L.A. Quill today. If you enjoyed this chapter, let me know your favorite moment in the comments below. May your stories always be magical.